NFL Week 6 best bets are here. We're going to go through every single game on Sunday and Monday, give you our favorite spread, total, money line, you name it. As always, it's Austin, joined by Logan. Logan, you had a wonderful week last week, continuing a dominant season for you. 8-5. I went 7-7 now on the season. I'm 41-31. You're 43-29. You got 2 games up on me. I need to catch up to you. But hey, great weeks for us. As always, they're all time stamped down below. We skip Thursday night football, but we'll talk about every other game. If you want to know Logan's thoughts on that game, just wait till that video drops on Wednesday evening or Thursday morning. But Logan, I hope you're doing great. I'm currently rocking I'm dead inside shirt because we lost day 6 of our ladder challenge last night on Monday Night Football. Chris Olave in shambles. But either way, let's move on. And as always, we start off these videos before we get into the games with like some sort of hot take or, podcast type question. And this week, Logan, we're going to start with coaches on the hot seat. Last week, we talked about some MVP frontrunners. I took Brock Purdy, which ain't looking too good. You took CJ Stroud, which I guess we'll see how that looks as the rest of the season goes on. But I'm going to let you lead things off. I know you're going to change the scenery as you're back at home in Florida. But who's a coach that's on the hot seat that is in desperate need of a win this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, this is a question I really wanted to talk about just because this is the part of the season when we're really looking at these teams and we're trying to evaluate who's going to be there when the dust settles. I think a guy on the hot seat right now is a guy that might lose his fan base if he loses a few more, and it's Nick Sirianni. I mean, this guy's sort of a polarizing coach. A lot of the Eagles fans, everyone knows I live in Philadelphia, so I have a good pulse on Eagles Nation. They don't like this guy if he does not turn this season around. I think Nick Sirianni could definitely be on the hot seat. If the Eagles are letting this division slip like they kind of could be, I mean, you got Dallas, who should be right there when the end of the season comes. You've got Washington, which looks really strong. Philadelphia could easily slide, and if they don't win this division or they don't make the playoffs, Nick Sirianni is 100% gone. I don't see a world in which they keep him. I mean, a lot of the Eagles' struggles have come from injuries. Like, we can't knock that. But in the NFL, a lot of these owners, they don't care if you have injuries. You have to play through that. And the Eagles, without A.J. Brown and without Devontae Smith, do not look good. And especially on the defensive side of the ball, this defense does not look good at all. I think the Eagles are in trouble. And I think who takes the blame for that? Nick Sirianni. And the fact that in a lot of the times in the red zone, Nick Sirianni is not willing to kick field goals. That will come back to bite you in the butt. Yeah, Nick Sirianni's on the hot seat for sure. Austin, I'm really curious to see who you're talking about, though.
Yeah, it should be no surprise. I'm talking about my head coach. It's Robert Saleh of the New York Jets. I don't necessarily think if he loses, the next 1 or 2 weeks that he gets fired. Jets not typically a team that fire guys mid-season, but this could easily be his last season with the New York Jets. Obviously, coming off a disappointing loss in London, they're now back at home taking on the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football. I don't expect them to win that game, but we'll talk about our thoughts at the end of the video on that one. However, I mean, it got to be if Rodgers stays healthy, this has to be a season you make the playoffs. I mean, the defense looks good in the second half last week. Didn't look terrible. Did give up. The offense gave up a pick 6, so not much you can do there. But look, this team has to figure things out. If Robert Saleh can't make the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers at the helm, I think he's gone. I think Nathaniel Hackett's probably gone unless Rodgers wants to stay another year, which he probably will. So we'll see. But I just haven't seen. I mean, the Jets just despicable what they're doing right now. They could win on Monday Night Football, and that might reinstill a lot of hope in me for the Jets season. But Robert Saleh is definitely on the hot seat. Like I said, I don't think he is fired, if they lose the next 2 games. But at the end of the season, if they are not in the playoffs and they're below 500 or right there knocking in, I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets regime tries to switch things up and goes to a new route, to maybe a new offensive-minded head coach, because that's kind of what the Jets have lacked. We have not had a consistent offense over the last, heck, 10 years, I swear. But either way, we'll see how that one goes, as well as Nick Sirianni. But Logan, people came here for some picks, and we're diving into them, and we're heading back out to London, where we have the London Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Chicago Bears. This is close to pick 'em. Bears are minus 135 on the money line, minus 2-point favorites, over under at 44.5. Last week, I got burned. We actually both got burned in London. You had Jets on the money line. I had the over in that game. Both came down to the last drive, needed Jets to come through. No, another Rodgers interception. Fun. But either way, we need our revenge back in London, Logan, and I'll let you lead things off with what you like in this game. What would you be rolling with?
I personally would be rolling with the London Jags. I mean, not really London Jags, but a team that's no stranger to playing in London and playing well in London. That's Jacksonville. The Jags finally last week are showing me signs of turning the season around. They got a lot of those red zone trips. They did get them into touchdowns. Tank Bigsby looked good. ETN looked good. They got several of those pass catchers like Christian Kirk involved. I think this Jacksonville Jaguars team is liable to win this game. I'll take them with the points just because, these games can shake out weird on the spread. But I still think that this Bears defense can be the ball can be moved upon them. Last week, Carolina not the best offense at all. They are struggling to find continuity in Carolina. But I mean, Jacksonville's to me finding their identity. They know they want to run the ball. I think they can still run it on Chicago. I think they can throw it. And I think this is going to be a one possession game. I think Jacksonville can easily steal this one. Caleb Williams is looking better with all those pass catchers, but I still think Jacksonville can make a few stops, turn those into field goals, keep this a one possession game. Give me Jacksonville in that one.
Yeah, I'm running it back. I'm going back to the over in London. There's no way it doesn't hit two straight weeks. Come on now. But for some of the reasons you pointed out, the Jags offense obviously looked really good. They were able to get things going, scoring in the red zone. Tank Bigsby's taken over Travis Etienne's roles. That's tough if you drafted Etienne in fantasy. He's basically a pass catching back now. But I've also really liked what I've seen out of Caleb Williams. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I remember seeing his passer rating is going up each and every week. He's looking good. Obviously dissected a Panthers secondary that's not great. Well, insert the Jaguars secondary, which is not great either. Joe Flacco just had a day. They gave up 34 points. Like, that is just not a defensive unit that I'm all too scared of. I think Caleb Williams continues to extend plays and make some plays and keep the ball in the field. And the Bears could put up some points, and I also think the Jags can put up some points. I don't know if it's going to be the quick strikes like we saw last week to Brian Thomas Jr. because the Bears secondary is really good. But if we can see Trevor Lawrence just dink and dunk down the field, I think they got a chance at winning. And obviously the Jags know how to play out in London. If I had to lean anywhere, I'd probably go there. I think this is a higher scoring game. You normally haven't seen a lot of Bears totals in the 44.5. Maybe that's showing that the Jaguars defense is that bad, but give me the over in that game. Now we go to the regular slate of 1 p.m. games as the Cleveland Browns taking on Nick Sirianni and the Eagles. Must-win game for the Eagles here. -8.5 at home. Over under 43.5. I assume Deshaun Watson starting. He's looked like trash so far this season. Logan, you think the Eagles can come out here and make a statement win at home, or would you take the Browns with the points?
Yeah, this has to be an Eagle spot. There's no way the Browns are getting my money in this one. I think the Browns are actually one of the bottom 5 teams in the NFL right now. I don't really know what their identity is without Nick Chubb. This team's not being able to, move the chains essentially because they're a run first team. They want to run the ball. They do not want Deshaun Watson to have to be running for his life around there because I don't really know what Deshaun Watson's doing. He doesn't look comfortable in the pocket. He doesn't look like he's able to read a lot of these defenses. And I mentioned the Eagles' defense has struggled, but I mean a good cure to that is a bad offense that really cannot find any sort of identity. That's the Cleveland Browns, and we see a high spread on this one. I think for a reason. This is an Eagles spot. This is we prepared off the bye. I believe Eagles are off the bye. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Exactly. So we got Eagles off the bye in this one. Terrible spot, I think, for Cleveland, traveling the road for Philadelphia. Yeah, I think this is Eagles all the way. I think Saquon Barkley, big game. Jalen Hurts, big game. Give me Eagles.
Yeah, I actually kind of like the Browns here. I like them plus the 8.5. They burned me last week. I looked like an idiot taking them against the Commanders. I think this is an Eagles team that just doesn't know how to blow teams out. I don't know if they can blow out a team by 10 points. I haven't seen it. It feels like, sure, I think they win this game, but I don't know if they win it by 8.5 convincingly. Now, I don't know if it's Deshaun Watson that has to carry me. I think it's their defense. So if anything, maybe the under's the smarter play because if they're going to cover, it's probably a lower scoring game. But coming off the bye, they should be getting A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith back. But I don't think that helps them a ton against the Browns, who have a very good secondary, although they got destroyed by Terry McLaurin last week. I think Jalen Hurts makes a mistake here, gives the Browns life at the end of this game. Plus 8.5, I think they can get the job done. Not my favorite pick of the week, but I think the Browns can cover my 8.5. And if they don't cover for me back-to-back weeks, I'm out. I'm out on the team. I'll never back them again, except for I'll probably back them the next week because that's how it be. But give me the Browns plus the points. We're going a little battle here between Logan and I. Well, let's move to another game, though, Logan. One of the biggest ones of the weekend. It might have not looked at that like that at the beginning of the season, but right now it's a big game. Commanders going up against the Ravens. Over under 52.5. Tied for the highest on the slate. Baltimore laying almost a touchdown, -6.5. And the money line is -300. I'm going to get this one and get it simple, Logan. I'm going to take the Ravens minus the points. I have liked what I've seen out of the Commanders offense, and I like Jaden Daniels. But I think this is coming back down to earth game for them, where they're playing a really good team. I mean, they've played some cupcakes the last few weeks. I think this is a tough spot. You had a team like Baltimore that wants to run the football, and I think they're going to be able to run it at will against the Commanders, who can't really stop the run. They just have been fortunate they face teams that don't know how to run the football. I think this is a big Ravens victory. I think they can win by 7. Might be tight as the game comes down to the wire, but I think Derrick Henry finishes them off in the fourth quarter. I like the Ravens minus the points. What do you like, Logan?
Yeah, I don't disagree with your take. If I were to pick a side in that one, it would probably be Ravens. I don't feel comfortable laying those points though, because like you mentioned, the Eagles don't have blowout capability. I don't think the Ravens really have that whole pull away by a touchdown capability. So actually, I like the under. Now, normally when I see a total in the 50s in the NFL, I'm like, ooh, that's red flag for a lot of points. And while I do agree there will be a lot of points, I just think, as you mentioned, the Ravens' blueprint for this one, they're going to run the ball. Keep Jaden Daniels and that very explosive Commanders offense off the field. You do that, you're going to, chew a lot of clock. I think the Ravens defense is going to have plans for Jaden Daniels. I think they're going to try to contain him in the pocket, turn him more into a passer. I think we've seen a very efficient big play Commanders offense. You mentioned those deep passes to Terry last week. I think the Ravens are going to be able to limit that. And if they're able to limit that, I think the Commanders are going to find it hard to convert some of those red zone trips into touchdowns. I think that over is set a little bit too high because if you just box score looking at these two teams, they're consistently in the 30s, right? It feels like every single week each of these teams are scoring 30, giving up, a lot of points themselves. I still like the under. I just think that's the blueprint in this one.
Yeah, no, I really like that under as well. I think that's a lower scoring game. Hopefully the Ravens can win by 7. Next game is one that I don't want to talk about, Logan, as the Texans are 7-point favorites on the road in Foxborough taking on the Patriots. You had a great call last week taking the Dolphins on the money line against the Patriots. Now, we are recording this obviously Tuesday. You'll see it dropped on Tuesday. Right now, Drake May, there's rumors he could be starting in this game. I don't know if that changes your opinion on this one. But what would you be looking at betting in this game? Because I honestly don't really have a great idea.
Yeah, this one's going to be a bit nasty, but I'll take the Patriots with the points. If I'm looking up at a slip up spot for a Texans team, that I still think that they're going to overlook the Patriots. It's just how it is. The Patriots looked lifeless. They looked bad. They put up a big whopping 10 points at home against a bad Dolphins team. And then now you get a step-up spot for them, hosting, the Texans, who are a fun young team that knows how to go in and just pass the ball all over the yard. I still think some of these DBs from the Patriots are going to be able to rise up a little bit. And with Nico Collins and his injury concerns, that's really kind of where I find a bit of a falter for this Texans team. I mean, Tank Dell's great. Stephon Diggs is great. Still, I question the Texans' ability to run the ball consistently. And if they're not going to be able to run the ball consistently, I think New England keeps this one sneaky close. I just think that laying the points with Houston on the road like that is kind of a sucker bet. I really do. I think there's just a too many points in this one. I think the Patriots rise up. They play this one competitive. I think this is a 3 or 4 point game, not a 7-point as the spread indicates. So give me the Patriots plus the points. It's really nasty, Austin. I don't blame the people, though, for staying away off that one.
Yeah, I wanted to take the Patriots with you because I do agree they're the sharp side to be on. I'll take the under, though, for reasons you acknowledged. I think that Nico Collins loss is going to be big. Outside of him, really, CJ Stroud and Tank Dell haven't seen a great connection so far this year. Stephon Diggs, sure, he's doing his thing, but the Patriots, I've always kind of did pretty well against Stephon Diggs, even though that was the Bill Belichick era. I just have not seen a lot from this Patriots offense. Be like, oh, they might be able to move the football, and I agree. I think this is a Texans offense. It's now going to be on Nico Collins, most likely. I saw he was week to week. Joe Mixon, still TBD to see if he plays. And so I think this is a lower scoring game. I think if they're going to slip up, it's that offense that just isn't looking on par. And I really don't have a lot of faith in that Patriots offense to put up points. So if they're going to cover, I can see them maybe covering in like a 17-14 or 17-13 type game. And so I'll take the under. It's disgusting, but I took the under last time they played the Dolphins and Patriots last week. Running it back, give me the under at 37.5. Our next game, Logan, as we move on, a big total. We got a Cardinals going on into Lambeau Field taking on the Packers. Both of us did lose fading the Packers last week. We'll see if we fade them again. Packers are -5, 49.5. Man, this is going to be an interesting game. I mean, a high total here. I'll let you lead things off. Are you backing a spread or a total in this game?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Green Bay with the points. I just think Arizona bad spot for them going in the Lambeau Field. And look, I did fade the Packers last week. I thought it was a bad spot for them. Matt Stafford and that veteran squad with McVay. The Packers pulled away, and they didn't look all that great doing it, but it was one of those wins that I kind of needed to see this Packers team to confirm that they are going to be a team I want to put money on, and I do want to put money on them in this spot. I just think they're simply the better team than Arizona. If you can limit Kyler Murray from making those little explosive type plays, Kyler Murray I think had a big run last week. Limit that, keep James Conner in check. I think this Cardinals offense is a little bit easier to stop than it might seem. And Jordan Love is looking like that guy. I mean, even down, pass catchers week to week, he's still that guy able to command this offense. They're finally finding that continuity with Jordan Love. And I like this Packers team. Give me the Packers minus the points in this one.
Yeah, I've been looking at this game. I would lean the Packers if I had to bet anything. Been looking at this total because I could see points being scored here, but I don't know if they're getting to 50 points. That's a lot of points. I'll still take the over. I'll take the over. Look, I watched the Packers as a Josh Jacobs guy that needed 80 yards from him. He still had his regular over. That team, even when they should be running it, they're still throwing it. They just keep throwing it all around the park, and I don't know if that's the right. Sure, whatever LaFleur wants to do, they can throw it as much as they want. I think they're going to be able to put up points against the Cardinals secondary. I have not seen a lot from that Cardinals defense. Sure, they did a good job shutting out that 49ers offense last week. I don't know what that could happen to the 49ers, blowing that double-digit lead, losing outright. I think that you'll see the Packers be able to put close to 30 points on the board against them. That is a team that just continues to throw it. I don't care if they're down a couple guys. They'll keep throwing it around. Dontavian Wicks, he's going to have a big week this week. Might be on the prop card. But I also think the Cardinals can put up some points too. Kyler can make some plays. They'll be able to run the football a little bit. I mean, we saw Kyron Williams have a pretty good day against the Packers. And I think the Cardinals want to run a little bit faster. So give me the over 49.5. Might be a tight one. I think they go into the fourth, like 40 or so points, needing some points in the end. I think we get the over. I like your Packers play as well. Next one, we got to pick them as the Colts are on the road taking on the Titans. Right now, Indianapolis minus 110 on the money line, -1 on the spread, over under 43. Now, there are some injury questions here. We assume, Logan and I both assume that Anthony Richardson will be starting here. Obviously, Joe Flacco started last week. Looked like Anthony Richardson was kind of a game time decision, then was changed to doubtful. I'd imagine after another week, he is back in here. We should see Will Levis return. We'll see. They had their bye week, so Will Levis left that last game on Monday Night Football against the Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken. I assume he's starting here. Logan, you got anything you like with confidence in this game? Because this is a tough one, and I think it's priced accordingly. Anything you like here?
This is a tough one. Yeah, definitely not my favorite game on the slate. I'm not going to lie to your face, everyone watching this. But my slight lean would be to the Titans coming off the bye week in this one. I think back-to-back divisional road games for the Colts in this one. Not a team I'm running out to back, especially with Jonathan Taylor out. I mean, Trey Sermon did fill in. He got the red zone touchdown that they needed. But I still just don't think this offense is really humming. If you put Anthony Richardson back in there, again, I mean, he was out and back in and then back and then out. So it's just one of those things that it's like he's not building the rapport with his wide receivers week in and week out. And the Titans coming off a bye, I think they're going to be able to game plan for this Colts team. Again, I think this offense, the Colts offense, is actually pretty easy to stop. I think the Titans get some of those stops, maybe turn the ball over. If it is Anthony Richardson, we know he does not take care of the football. Will Levis, can you take care of the football? Sure hope so. I do think the Titans get this divisional win at home. Give me the Titans in that pick 'em price.
Yeah, I actually like the under in this game. I would lean Titans. Agree with you. Coming off a bye, you normally want to back those teams. But I like the under. I think if Anthony Richardson starts, what do we know he wants to do? Launch it deep. Well, the Titans this season, second fewest opponent passing yards per attempt. So this is a team with great cornerbacks and obviously just a really good secondary. And they play a lot of too high safeties. So I just don't see Anthony Richardson being able to complete those deep passes. And if he's not completing them, well, then we're going to be 3 and out. It's going to be 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And I honestly have no faith in Will Levis in that offense. That's a team that's okay with settling for 3. Just need Levis not to make some boneheaded plays like he seems to make every week. But if he wants to make them in the red zone, which he's been doing, that's fine too. I like an under here. I think 43 is quite a steep total for these two teams. If Joe Flacco was starting, maybe it'd be a little bit different. But I think Anthony Richardson with him under center, I'll take the under. And with confidence, I really like that under pick. The next game, a divisional matchup, as you have the Buccaneers going on the road to take on the New Orleans Saints. Tampa Bay right now laying 2 points. Both teams coming off a loss, as obviously the Buccaneers had a little bit of a mini bye as they lost on Thursday Night Football, gave up 500 passing yards to Captain Kirk. That's not great. And then you have Derek Carr with an injury question mark here. It seemed, I read a tweet right before this that Derek Carr said it's not looking great. With that being said, I'll take Tampa Bay minus the points. We watched that backup come in for the Saints, and we were with Olave needing 15 yards. We're like, oh God, this guy, his first throw, it's like a 1-yarder, and it's like not even close to Alvin Kamara. He ended up throwing a pretty good pass to Olave. He could have halted it, and we lost. Enough talking about that. I just haven't seen enough from there. If Derek Carr's out, I just don't know how they're going to just immediately game plan for a new system here. Now, the Saints obviously didn't they already go into Tampa? And oh no, that was I keep thinking of Sean Payton. They went and destroyed the Bucks because Sean Payton has the Bucks number. But I like the Bucks here. I'll lay the points on the road. I'll actually take the money line. I'll take the money line at minus 130. That's not too steep. I like the Bucks here. I think they bounce back. A mini bye week. They have to stop the run here, and I think they will force whoever's starting at QB to throw some passes. And even if it is somehow Derek Carr, he's going to be under pressure all day with Todd Bowles blitzing him. So give me the Bucks on the money line. But Logan, what do you like here?
I'm full agreement with you. Give me Tampa Bay on the money line as well. I mean, if you're looking at just the spots in this one, you got a short week for New Orleans. You got an extended week since the Bucks did play on Thursday night, and what the Bucks got absolutely cooked in their secondary. I mean, the injury concerns for Tampa Bay's secondary was there. I mean, that Kirk Cousins had a field day. Do I really think Jake Haener, if that's who the quarterback is going to have a field day on that secondary? Absolutely not. I mean, yes, he was thrown into that game, cold turkey like that. He'll look a little bit better with an actual game plan, but I still don't find any sort of continuity with this Saints offense. You and I were talking about it, kind of watching Olave. We're like, they kind of looked unprepared to play that game in Kansas City. I know Kansas City defense obviously good, but what are they doing? I mean, check down Alvin Kamara can only get you so far. I think Tampa Bay is going to blitz the heck out of Haener. And I think Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rachaad White, Bucky Irvin, this is the much better offense, even on the road in this one. I think this game is actually priced accordingly as Tampa Bay with the slight road favorites in this one. Because, I mean, the books respect New Orleans. They respect them playing in New Orleans. But give me Bucks in this one. I think the Bucks get the win.
Yeah, I'm glad we're both on the Bucks. This is a really tough spot for the Saints. I'm just looking at their schedule right now. They get this. They have the Monday night, play on Sunday. And then they hit them with the Thursday night football games. We're talking like 3 games in 10 or 11 days. That's a real tough schedule with Sean Payton returning back to New Orleans. We'll see how that game goes next Thursday night. But let's keep it moving, Logan. Steelers on the road taking on the Raiders, who cost me some good coin last week as I took them on the spread, and that team sucked. It looked great. I think they were up 10-0 after the first quarter, and then I don't know what the hell happened. But right now you got the Steelers laying 3 points. Right now over under 36.5. I meant to look up Justin Fields' injury status because I do know he did get injured. I think he's going to be ready to go here, but either way, it looks like he'll be ready to go. Everything I'm reading right now, it says Justin Fields should be good. But Logan, anything you like here in this borderline barf bowl?
I mean, yeah, this one is definitely not the sexiest matchup in the afternoon slate. But give me the under. Yeah, it's priced low for a reason. 36.5 right now is where the total's at. I think that one's actually even a little bit too high. I think the race to 20 in this one might get it done. Could see a 20-10, 20-14 type of game in this one where touchdowns might just seal it in this one. I really think this game will be dictated by each of these teams not being able to close those red zone trips into touchdowns. Because, I mean, the Steelers offense didn't look all that great on Sunday night against a Cowboys team that I think is definitely exploitable. They did not hit those explosive plays. Pickens was a pretty much no-show in that one. That was a bit concerning to watch. They were leaning heavily on Najee, but again, Najee Harris, not one of those running backs that I classify as hard to stop because, you just load up the box. Yeah, doesn't have the breakaway speed to really get through that. I think and then we look at the Raiders too. I mean, Raiders offense, do they scare you? I don't think it was one of those picks that I just look at the total and I'm like, I don't see the way in which this one goes over. So yeah, give me the under. Nasty.
Could this be the week Devontae Adams gets traded? I mean, I'm sure that's going to start ramping up as the trade deadline approaches. Obviously, he's played his last snap with the Raiders. It looks like Justin Fields is good to go. He exited, went for a concussion test, and then returned to games. So he should be fine here. Man, I really don't like this one. I want to take Pittsburgh minus the 3, but the George Pickens question marks are there. We honestly almost lost the ladder challenge on him for day 5 because they wanted to monitor his snaps for whatever reason. Your best wide receiver by a long shot. There's not even anyone close to him. No, we'll monitor his snaps. I don't know what's with the Steelers and wide receivers. I don't know why they always have problems. But Logan, I'll join with you on the under. With Pickens, if we're going to monitor his snaps, I don't know how we're going to move the football. And I agree with you. The Raiders are not the team that, what they just gave up a ton of points last week. I imagine they got to at least figure something out this week. Their defense is not as bad as that. Hopefully they get Max Crosby back this week, but giving up 34 to the Broncos, not ideal. Returning back home, I think this is a lower scoring game. So I'll take the under. It's a nasty one, but I don't think this is going to be a game filled with touchdowns. I agree with you. I think there's a lot of field goals. So I'll take the under with you, and hopefully we get a very, very low scoring game. Next game, we have the Chargers going on the road into Denver to take on the Broncos. These are two teams that have actually looked decent the last few weeks. I believe Chargers are coming off a bye, though. Over under at 35.5. Chargers are -3. Have you liked what you've seen out of the Denver Broncos the last few weeks? Are you buying into Bo Nix and the Sean Payton actually figuring things out? Or do you think the Chargers come in and put a stop into that? What do you like here, Logan?
I will admit this game's priced a little interesting because I thought it would be a little bit closer to a pick 'em. To see the books' faith in the Chargers like this, it's kind of interesting to me. I think the Chargers are fake sharp in this one, though. Give me the Broncos plus the points. I just think they're the hotter team. Look what they did last week. When you're putting up 30 with Bo Nix, why would I go away from you? I get it. Raiders definitely did not show up defensively in that game, but I still think they can move the ball in this Chargers secondary. I don't think they're all that great. I don't think Bo Nix is going to have all that many problems. I still don't think the Chargers have the explosive playmakers to be able to just run and hide from Denver, and that's kind of the way I'm looking at this game. Quentin Johnston, he's a good receiver, not otherworldly talent. I think again, this Chargers team's going to come in. They're going to want to run the ball. Can Denver stop the run in this one? I think they can. And I think Denver plus the points in this one's kind of a gift. Chargers are a weirdly fake sharp team over the course of the years. Chargers spread always looks tempting, especially in that 4 o'clock window, but I'm seeing through that. I'm going Denver.
Yeah, I like the over a lot in this game. At 35.5, it's low, and I get why it's there. But I think it's a higher scoring game. Like you talked about, I think the Broncos can put up points. They've shown that. Sean Payton finally having some good chemistry with his QB. I think they'll be able to score. The Chargers, their defense has been pretty solid this year, but it's not been anything that I've been too scared of. On the flip side, you have the Chargers coming off a bye, had an extra week to prepare here. And the big pro of the Chargers defense is their secondary. They face teams that want to throw the football, and they're going to have a good chance at stopping them. Well, the Chargers don't want to throw. They don't have any number one guys where it's like, all right, well, we can't throw to them like Pat Surtain. We can't go out there and throw against him. Well, the Chargers, their number one guy is Lad McConkey. So it's like that's a guy in the slot. I don't think Surtain's going to guard him. I think they'll be able to move down the field. I think this comes down if they can score in some touchdowns. I think J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards find their way into the end zone. But I also think the Broncos can put up some points here. So 35.5, very low total. In order to cash a total like that, you need an absolute pillow fight. I don't think it's a complete pillow fight. So I'll take the over at 35.5. But look, we got another game on the radar as we're heading out to the tied for highest total on the board. The Detroit Lions take on the Dallas Cowboys. Detroit, surprisingly, is -3. I did not expect them to be -3, -170 on the money line, 52.5 point total. Isn't this a revenge game? This is the one where the Lions went for 2. They got the 2-point conversion, and then they were said, oh, your guy illegally formation, blah, blah, blah. He didn't report. When he did report, and the Lions fans are pissed. So they're coming in here, and they're going to be absolutely going crazy in Arlington, Texas, out in Jerry World. You think the Lions? I'm thinking about Tigers. We're all in baseball. Logan, what do you like here in this game? You think the Lions can come in here and pull off what should be an upset, but isn't an upset based on what the odds are?
If I were to lean aside, it would be the Lions in this one, but I like the over. I think both these teams get a lot of scoring in this one in Jerry World in Arlington, Texas. There will be a lot of touchdowns scored in this one. Both these red zone offenses can convert, and that's what I like. They have several options, several ways of getting touchdowns. We know the Lions. Do I have to hash it? Amon-Ra, Laporta, and then the two-headed beasts of Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery. Those guys are all guys that I don't think the Cowboys defense are going to be able to stop in the red zone. And on the flip side, CeeDee Lamb, Ferguson, guys like that, I think they get a few touchdowns themselves. Why is this total set to 52.5? It's high for a reason. It's got shootout potential. Jared Goff, 300 plus passing yards, probably. Dak Prescott, Dak and the Cowboys last week, getting that win in Pittsburgh, I think is going to be a little bit of a springboard momentum wise into this game. I think this offense is going to find their rhythm against the Lions team that, I mean, we saw them against Seattle, right? Like Seattle had no problem moving the ball on them. It was kind of weird. Seattle would get like 15, 20 yards of play in that one. And I think Dallas definitely has the guys to be able to do that. They have the offensive line to be able to move the ball. I think the over is just calling my name in that one.
Yeah, I love the over with you, but I'll take the Lions minus the 3. At the Cowboys coming off that grueling, gritty win against the Steelers. I think the fact that you see them as big underdogs at home, I mean, you're getting get them at like plus 150 on the money line in some books. That's insanity. This is the Cowboys home team that's been really good. I think that goes to show they don't have any faith in that defense. And what the Cowboys are really struggled with this season is stopping the run. Did okay against Najee on Sunday Night Football, but that's not a hard team to game plan for. They aren't even starting George Pickens. So just load the box and you can stop the run. You can't load the box against the Lions. If you do, Jameson Williams going over top of your head, or Amon is going to get loose, or Laporta. They have so many weapons, and the Cowboys have struggled to stop the run. We saw them in that game against the Ravens. They just ran up and down on the field, and the Ravens kind of took their foot off the pedal. That is not what the Lions do. They keep going and going and going until the game's over. I think they dominate in this game. I would not be shocked if they put up 30-plus points for you on your over, Logan. I think they're going to be able to score on almost every possession. And if you want a prop, look for Dak Prescott pass yards. They are not going to be able to get anything going on the ground. They will be throwing it a lot. I might be on CD yards. I'm not sure what I'll pick in this game, but I'll be involved. It's a Lions game. I always have my Lions SGP. Give it to me. Give me the Lions minus the points. They're out for revenge out in Dallas. I like them minus 3. Wish I could get them at minus 2.5, and maybe you can if the lines. I imagine the public's going to want to bet on some Cowboys, so don't be shocked if this one goes down to 2.5, maybe 3. Maybe it ends at 3, but I like them minus the points. Let's keep it going, though, Logan. We have another 4 o'clock game as we're going out to Charlotte, North Carolina. For your Carolina Panthers are playing host to Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. They're disrespecting your Panthers, Logan, giving you a plus 6 at home, 47.5 total. Come on, Logan. Bride, get back on the Panthers bandwagon. Join them plus 6. You know you want it. Come on, take it.
Drum roll, please. I'm taking Carolina plus 6. I think this is a sharp divisional spot for Carolina in this one. I think they get up for this one. Last week, I mentioned I took the Bears with confidence. I mean, if you could have taken an extended spread, I would have, right? I talked about how confident I was that the Carolina Panthers matched up poorly against the Chicago Bears, a really, really good defense and an offense that knew how to move the ball. Now you get the Falcons riding very high off their overtime Thursday night win, against the Bucks. Bucks secondary super depleted. Now, Carolina is a very interesting team because they lack an identity on offense. Chuba Hubbard, is he that guy? Maybe, maybe not. I just think they're going to be able to dink and dunk their way around this one to keep it close. I mean, Andy Dalton, Deontay Johnson, those are guys that are going to be able to build more chemistry as Andy Dalton starts, for the hopefully rest of the year. I don't want to see any more Bryce. I'll be honest with you. I've seen enough. At least for the time being, until this offensive line is not giving them a ton of time to throw either. Do I really fear Atlanta's pass rushers? Not really. I mean, Baker Mayfield looked very comfortable in the pocket. He was able to, deliver a lot of big strikes in that one. That's why Tampa Bay was looking good in that game until they weren't. I think Carolina's secondary is going to figure out what Tampa Bay didn't do, and Tampa Bay also was missing a bunch of pieces. Tampa Bay was throwing out some guys that really shouldn't have been out in that secondary. This line is an overreaction to what Atlanta did last week. Give me Carolina plus the 6. That's just too many points at home in a divisional matchup. I know it's nasty, and I expect comments to let me know how nasty that is, but give me Carolina plus 6. Sharp play in that one.
Hey, Logan, man, that is disgusting. Add it to my card. Give me the Panthers plus the 6, man. I am a Panthers fan. We have been on the right side of the Panthers the last 3 or 4 weeks, either fading them or tailing them. And I agree with you. This is a big overreaction to what Captain Kirk and that offense did, throwing for 500 yards on Thursday Night Football. Coming in hot here, divisional game. I think the Panthers defense shows up a little bit. Doesn't need to be great, but I think Andy Dalton and the offense will be able to put up points too. A 47.5 point total. You're not getting there with only the Falcons putting up points. You're going to need some points from the Panthers. And I haven't seen a lot from that Falcons defense. It's like, oh, that's a little bit scary. Baker and that offense were able to put up points. They just, the too little too late and didn't win the coin toss in overtime. GG. I like the Panthers. I think this line, I wouldn't be shocked if this one closes around 4.5. So good CLV plus 6. Give me the Panthers. That's a winner. Next game, Bengals on the road in East Rutherford, taking on the New York Giants. Both of us were on Giants last week. Easy, sharp spot. Malik Neighbors, Devin Singletary out. Yeah, money line victory. That's how it be in the NFL. We have Sunday Night Football here. I don't know the last time the Giants were on Sunday Night Football. Someone let us know in the comment section down below. It's probably been a few years. But hey, good for them. They're hosting this game against the Bengals, who should have won against the Ravens, but they choked that game away. And it is what it is. Right now, they're laying 3.5. You back in the home Giants once again, Logan, or are you going somewhere else? What do you like here?
Yeah, I really don't find an edge on the spread in this one because we mentioned, obviously the Bengals last week, that was demoralizing. That was definitely a demoralizing loss. And then the Giants overachieved a lot last week. So it's like a weirdly priced spread. Don't really see an advantage there. Just give me the under instead. I think the Giants, missing guys like that last week overachieved a little bit, right? Obviously, nobody once those guys were rolled out were running to the counter to bet Giants. But I just don't think I don't think the Giants offense is going to be able to move the ball. Now, this is a very, very bad Bengals defense, and that's why the total is sitting at like 49 when we're recording this. That's why, and again, I just think it's a little bit too overinflated. I think this is a prime time game where some of these defenses rise up, get a few red zone stops, and again, you don't get to that 49 number if kicking field goals. But I think both these teams are going to kick field goals, and if I see a few of these red zone drives stalling out in that one, I have to go the under. Austin, as we're recording this right now, Jets fire head coach Robert Saleh. That's absolutely hilarious. Breaking news.
No way. Wow.
Yeah, I just saw the breaking news right across my phone as we're recording this, but that's really funny. Back to this game, I still like the under a lot. I think these red zone defenses are going to come to play in this one. Again, the Giants offense, not really. I don't really fear them all. Bengals offense a little bit. Yes, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, but again, those guys will get contained. Give me the under.
Yeah, that's good. I don't know how I'm going to edit this video now because I don't want to waste people's time talking for a minute and a half about how I think Robert Saleh's on the hot seat. But all right, that's interesting. Logan, I actually really like the Bengals minus the points here. We've talked with Danny Dimes in primetime. He's not a QB you really want to back. I think people, if anyone is back still betting on the Bengals, they're probably dead inside. They're like my shirt. I'm dead inside. I just don't see a lot of faith coming in here. Lost Logan for a second. We'll bring him back in. But look, I'll take the Bengals minus the points at 3.5. I'll take them. It's not my favorite spot here, but I think they win this game by 4 or 5. I don't think it's like, hey, they blow them out by 20, but I think they win this game. Nasty, but give me the Bengals minus the points. Let's keep things going, Logan. We got another game on the horizon as we stay in East Rutherford and now go to the newly fired New York Jets who are playing host to the Buffalo Bills. Robert Saleh out, IDK in as the head coach. Big game. I don't care, Logan. Give me the Jets plus the points. Give me the Jets on the money line. Screw it. Give me the Jets on the ML. Robert Saleh was the problem. He sucked. Well, give me the Jets on the money line. Keep the points. I don't want them. Jets fan, this might be a biased pick. I think they come in, they beat the Bills. They've been able to do it before at home against Josh Allen. Josh Allen at offense haven't looked good. We'll see if Khalil Shakir plays. But Josh Allen completed 9 of his 30 passes last week. That is one of the worst stat lines I've ever seen. I think the Jets defense had some penalties in there that they could have beaten the Vikings. If Rodgers doesn't throw 3 picks, they probably win that game. Rodgers will be better. He's not throwing 3 again. Give me the Jets on the ML. Keep the points. But Logan, what do you like here?
I hate when we agree on a team like the Jets, but give me Jets. And also, you know what? You can keep the points. I find too much value on this Jets team. A lot of NFL teams, sometimes when you dismiss the coach, they come out with a little bit of extra fire, a little bit of motivation, extra motivation. And I think if you look at the Jets last week, dude, they should have had that game. I mean, really, Rodgers couldn't have looked worse. Do we really fear this Bills defense? I don't. I don't fear him at all. CJ Stroud had his way with them. Even missing Nico Collins, they were still able to put up points in that one. I just think the Bills are a bunch of boneheads, especially on offense. Like, I mean, Josh Allen, there's no reason why, if he's having an inefficient game like that, he should still be dropping back that many times and trying to throw to guys that just aren't good, solid receivers yet. I mean, Khalil Shakir was his favorite target. Missing him was proved to be a bigger loss than I think expected. I just think this Jets defense is going to be able to stop James Cook. And if you stop James Cook, make Josh Allen have to drop back a bunch of times, be, Superman. I don't really see it. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come out and prove that last week was a little bit more of a fluke. Garrett Wilson, Lazard, guys like that. Aaron Rodgers will get involved. Give me Jets. I think they get this win.
Hey, go Jets, baby. We'll see how they do in the post-Salah era. That's literally insane. That was my hot take, and he's fired. I didn't think he'd get fired mid-season, but here we are. We'll see. Hopefully our picks do well here. Like I said, we've had a pretty good start to our season. If you want all of our official best bets, we'll have those videos sporadically posted throughout the week. And hopefully you guys enjoy. So, Logan, appreciate you for tuning in. We will be back next week recapping all these picks. And if you want Logan's thoughts on Thursday Night Football, you have to wait for that. 49ers Seahawks will go record that video with Logan in just one moment. Have a great weekend. Good luck on your picks. We'll see you guys back again for week 7 next week. Peace.